Market remains in crisis. Americans, though, are reducing their mortgage payments at record level, but the foreclosure pain is still widespread and moving slower than ever. Tanya Marchiol is here. She's founder and president of Team Investments, live from Phoenix to help us figure all of this out. Okay, so let me get this straight. Apparently Americans have cut their mortgage payments by $100 billion, and that's becoming a huge stimulus, de facto stimulus to the economy. But what does it say about the housing market?
Well, I think one thing that we really need to be honest with all our viewers about is we keep hearing that foreclosures are down, foreclosures are down. It's really just that the paperwork process is taking so much longer. In 2007, it took on average 151 days to push us through the foreclosure process. Now it's taking 400 days to get us through that process. Now there's a ton more foreclosures, but let's be real, the banks would rather short sale than to take it through the foreclosure process because they're gonna make more money and it's less work on them.
Yeah, but one of the things too that to me it seems that's going on, last week we learned in New York from the beginning of foreclosure until the time you actually booted out of the house could be 900 days. It seems to me a lot of people have said, okay, I'm just not going to pay the mortgage. I might even get 2 years of unemployment insurance to go on top of it. That leaves you a lot of disposable cash. I mean, are we in some sort of false security with some of these retail sales numbers and things we're seeing?
Oh, I absolutely think that. And one of the biggest problems, honestly, is there's really good homeowners out there that the banks are not giving the opportunity to go ahead and do a modification. And so why should they pay? Nobody else has paid. So then free enterprise needs to come back in so that the investors and the homeowners, and we're seeing a huge number of foreign investors take advantage of that opportunity.
Charles, Tanya, it's Evan. The issue that Charles raised, which is lower mortgage payments from Americans, is actually a function of two things. One, it's a function of lower interest rates, but second, it's a function of people walking away from their mortgages. So in effect, America's getting a benefit, but it's not actually flowing through because, as you touched on, Charles, people are simply not paying their mortgages. That's where you get that $100 billion benefit.
Right. And what about, Tanya, what about the notion that we still are so behind on the foreclosure process? It was slowed up tremendously because the government got involved with all the robo-signings and all that investigative stuff. And once they start coming back, the market will be flooded with foreclosures again, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's going to be flooded again. That's why I said I think it's a false sense that we are on a lower amount of foreclosures. There is going to be another flood of foreclosures, and home buyers, because interest rates are lower, have to get back into the market. Investors have to get back into the market, and our foreign investors, because their dollar's high and our market is low, are really seizing this opportunity. We have to let free enterprise take over to get out of this mess.
Now, Tanya, having said that, what's your advice to the person in a house that, let's say they paid $250,000 and now it's assessed at $160,000? Outside of the moral dilemma of paying your bills, is there an economic argument for them to stay in that house?
Well, let's get to the moral dilemma really quickly. We're taught as homeowners that we have to do this and we have to pay and we have to be in this and that kind of a situation. Whereas banks make a decision. If it's a bad one, they get out of it and they make a better one. But we're taught that that's not okay. So people that bought wrong in 2006 and 2007, we're taught that they're supposed to be punished for buying wrong, and yet everybody else can get out of bad situations? No. Take a financial look at yourself, make a wise decision, and figure out what's best for you and your family.
Hundreds of thousands of Americans are walking away from their mortgages, Charles. They're making the economic decision. I think morality's got probably pretty little to do with it.
That typically sends, you must be tired this morning, because that typically sends you into a rage.
It does. It drives me nuts because it's easy to do when your neighbor's doing it. And you look out the window and you say, they're not paying next door, so why the heck should I? And we know New York and New Jersey in particular take forever to come back to you. I mean, you could be in that house for 2 years before
900 days.
Okay, that's over 2 years, right? So you're talking a really long time.
But here's the question. Banks do it all the time, but we're not supposed to. I think that's wrong. We have to make good, wise financial decisions. And people made really bad ones. And we need to make better ones now when the opportunity is here.
Okay, Tanya, we got to let you go. But what I'm getting from you is that there are opportunities out there for the people on the sidelines, and they should start to take advantage of it.
Take advantage of them now. Okay. It's hot.
Thanks a lot. We know you got up early for this piece. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, time now for your morning gold report. Look at that. Gold hanging tough. The dollar's up and gold's up. That's an unusual event. $4.60. We'll take it for right now. Next, we're going to take you live to the flood zone in the south where the waters continue to rise. Plus, we'll ask one of the foremost authorities on healthcare in America, is Mitt Romney's presidential campaign DOA because of his problems with the healthcare plan in Massachusetts. Remember, Andrea Tantaros, she's already said yes.
Andrea Tantaros says Mitt Romney's campaign is dead. And that's
DOA.
it. All right.
And you can't get enough of the fitted versus flat sheets debate. We've got someone who says, why don't these hotel